Hi, you guys. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having an amazing day. I'm Katie, and we're back today with another video helping you to step into your power and create the reality of your dreams. So today we're going to chat about this idea that's been floating around in my mind this week. And it's this idea that in order to create the reality that you desire or to like step into that desired version of yourself, you don't have to go back and try to like fix or change any parts of you or anything that you've manifested, in the past or in this current moment. So I think this is where a lot of people get tripped up and where it starts to feel like you're stuck or blocked or like things aren't moving. And it's because we go back to the core principle that what you focus on is what expands. What you're focused on, what you're thinking about, the beliefs you're holding about those things is what you're going to see continued to be reflected back to you in your reality. And so the more that you're focusing on what's wrong, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be changed, what's wrong with you, what you need to fix within yourself, what you need to even what you need to heal within yourself. This is another one we're going to go into, how we get stuck in this like healing trap. The more that you're actually focusing on what you don't want. So I think this is sometimes where people get tripped up because it seems almost like the logical thing to do to for many of us to like focus on, okay, well, where was the problem and what went wrong and how can I fix that and how can I change that? And what happens then is if we go back to the idea that what you focus on is what expands, then for most of us, when we're continuing to focus on the problem or what we've deemed as like wrong or like what we don't want more of, and we're continuing to focus on it and try to figure out like, well, where did this go wrong and how come I manifested that and what's wrong in me that created that, and if everything's a reflection of me, then what part of me is like that? And like, it's like all of a sudden, what energy is that? Like if you ask yourself simply like, okay, how do I feel when I'm having those thoughts? And how do I feel when I'm kind of digging into that? Do I feel like the best version of myself? Or am I back into like worry? Am I starting to feel anxiety? Is there any feelings of like shame or guilt coming up? Are there feelings of unworthiness coming up? Because as you're going back and kind of like trying to figure out what went wrong or why this happened, most of us are not doing it from a completely neutral perspective. Most of us, maybe we go in with the best of intentions and we try to remain neutral, but eventually as we're kind of like sifting through things and thinking through things, we get kind of sucked into a feeling where like, oh God, like I'm frustrated that it didn't work, or like, why did that happen to me? And maybe now we're in like a victimhood energy, or we're feeling lack, or how come it's not working? And all of a sudden see where we are. We're back in the old pattern. We're back in the old thought processes. We're back in the old beliefs. And you can't create something new from that. You're going to continue to create more of that. So even if it seems like, I'm on a healing journey, or I'm just in the process of like, I'm in the process. I'm in the process of trying to fix or change this. I'm in the process of trying to transform this. It's like, this is where I think a lot of us get stuck, because when you're trying to fix or change a part of yourself or a part of, something that's manifested in your reality, you're still in the energy of something's wrong. Like think about the energy that that's sending out. You're still broadcasting this energy that says something's wrong, something's not right, something's lacking, something is how it shouldn't be. And so like you're broadcasting this signal out that I have to fix this. And what you're going to continue to get more of is stuff that needs to be fixed, or things that feel wrong, or things that don't feel like they're exactly what you wanted. And the way that we can start to start to transcend beyond this pattern is instead to start to realize that there's nothing that needs to be fixed or changed. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't desire new experiences, or that you can't desire to evolve and grow and expand yourself. However, it's about the energy and the mindset that you have behind it. And so if you're so focused on looking at the problem, trying to figure out what you did wrong here, trying to figure out what it is within you that needs healing, then that's going to be the energy you continue to create and manifest in your life. So instead, what I would suggest is starting to allow yourself to just release that tendency. And I feel like this is kind of tricky for people too, because it's like are programmed to want to like find something to solve or find something to fix, and it feels almost like we're doing something wrong if we're not doing that. But start to release that and say the thing that's going to get you into your desired reality or into the version of yourself that feels like that next level version of yourself, it's not focusing on the problems. It's not focusing on what's wrong. It's not trying to fix or change anything. It's simply you connecting with that energy and living and being from that energy. So I want to give you like a practical example to try to ground this in a little bit. Let's say that you want to get better at public speaking. Okay. This is an example that we're going to use for this, but you can plug in any example in your life. You want to get better at public speaking, and, you know, maybe there was a public speaking event that kind of launched this idea in your head because you did the public speaking event and you did a lot of ums and ers, and like you stumbled over your words and you didn't feel very confident and powerful, and you go home and you're like, okay, I want to get better at public speaking. Okay. From that place, it's like you either go one of two ways. And it's like the way that I think a lot of us go towards it, we start focusing on like, well, what did I do wrong? And like, how come I did that? How come I stumbled? How come I went over all those ums and ers? How come I didn't feel confident enough? Okay, now let me look within myself. Why is it that I don't feel confident enough? Okay, you know what? This stems from my childhood where I was told this, this, and this, and I had low confidence. So now I got to go in and do all this inner child healing and do this shadow work and start to like rebuild up that confidence. And like, this is going to be a journey, and it's a healing journey, and da da da. And do you see now how, if that's your approach, what energy are you in? You're already creating the beliefs that there's like all this deep healing to do. You're creating the beliefs that this is going to be a journey, that it's going to be a process, that, you know, it's going to take a long time to heal this. And like, you're focused on what you did wrong and how come you didn't do it right. And listen, I think there's like a time and a place for these different methods of healing. Like, I think at some points along the journey, it can be helpful to go into like some inner child work. I think that there's a benefit to like different phases of this, but I think if we're talking about the most efficient and effective ways to step into your new reality and become the powerful creator of your reality, it's to realize like you actually don't need any of that. Unless that feels really good and supportive to you, and it's enjoyable for you and you like it and it feels good, but you don't need to. What in that moment, what you could do instead is start to just imagine, okay, what's the version of me that, instead of like trying to go into what happened and fixate on what happened and fixate on what's wrong and needs to be changed and fixed, you don't even have to go there. You literally don't even have to go there. And I think this is where, like, if you need a big permission slip, here it is. You don't have to go into what happened. You don't have to go into, you know, what was wrong or what needs to be fixed. Instead, you can just start to go into, okay, I want to become, and it's like, first of all, also, it's like, what would even constitute a better public speaker? Sure, we have all these like ideas of what that might be, but what is it that like, get clear on what is it that you want to feel? What would that mean to you? Would that mean you feel more confident afterwards? Would that mean that you feel like you're having fun during it? Would it mean that you feel like you're really engaging the audience during it? Like, get clear on what that means for you, because there's not one definition for anything. So like when this is coming up for you in your life, it's like, decide the thing that you want to grow and evolve, and then just ask yourself, what is the definition for me? What is it that I'm looking to get out of this? And then that's going to be your guide. And you go into your imagination and you're like, okay, what would that be like? Would it be a speech that I feel like I'm really confident and I'm talking really clearly and I feel really like sure of what I'm saying and the message I'm delivering? And you just start imagining that, and you start feeling into that energy and asking yourself, like, how does that feel? How does the energy of that feel? What's that version of myself that would like deliver those types of public speeches? And the more that you start focusing on that and allowing yourself to be in that energy, and there's tons of different ways you can do this. I mean, different techniques that you can just try on which ones work for you, but you can use visualization. You can use affirmations. You can meditate on those versions of you. You can go to sleep, creating like kind of a mental movie of yourself giving a public speech and feeling the way you want to feel. Yeah, I think I said you can like just repeat affirmations to yourself. I mean, there's so many things you can do to start feeling into that energy and start really practicing it now. But Do you see the huge difference? It's like you don't have to go in and try to dissect what went wrong and what needs to be fixed and what needs to be healed within you. And oh my gosh, how come I'm not confident enough? And how come I have this issue with, being in my power? And how come I have this issue with I can't speak clearly? I can't get out my message clearly. It's like, okay, what energy are you in when you're saying all of that? What's the energy that you're in when you're doing that? And this is kind of the trippy thing for me sometimes. It's like, okay, if you imagine yourself as the version of you who's giving those really clear, confident speaking events, would they be sitting there worrying about what happened in their last speaking event with like the ers and the ums and the ahs and the pauses and the stumbling? No, because they would be delivering really calm, clear, grounded speeches. And so if you're really stepping into that energy and you're embodying that version of yourself, you wouldn't have those thoughts and worries because that wouldn't be what's happening. I know this is like a little bit trippy, so like take a second with it, but it's like if you're in that new energy and you're embodying that energy, then that version of yourself isn't having those worries, isn't having those doubts, isn't trying to go in and fix and change things. That version of yourself is confident and clear. And so the more that you just focus on, again, it's about your focus. It's about where you're putting your awareness. It's about what you're choosing. And so if you're saying, okay, I am the version of myself that gives these really amazing speeches. Okay, so feel into that. This isn't you like lying to yourself. This isn't you making anything up. This is you choosing and deciding, who am I? You don't need proof or validation for it. This is you saying there and choosing, okay, this is who I am. This is what I do. And just start to feel into that. You don't have to go back into the past. You don't have to dissect what happened. You don't have to try to fix or change anything. You don't have to fix or change or go on this long healing journey within yourself. Again, unless you want to, unless that feels good, unless that's what you're going for. But again, if you want quick and easy, efficient manifestation, like you really creating your reality and stepping into this next level version of yourself, then you don't need to go through all of that. You can just decide this is who I am and choose to start feeling into it. And what you'll notice from there is like the more that you just decide, the more you'll naturally be drawn to what the next steps are. So like, this doesn't mean you're not going to also take some sort of action to help you improve your speaking, but what it means is that you're not going to be forcing and pushing it. Like you don't all of a sudden need to sign up for all these workshops and classes, and you don't all of a sudden need to spend all this money on like this public speaking seminar and da-da-da-da. Like, I mean, you can, but the first line of action would be to decide and choose this is who I am and start feeling into it, and then allowing the path to kind of naturally unfold in front of you, where it's like, if there is a teacher who you really want to work with, it will just come to you. You won't have to like actively do all this research and seek it out. It should feel easy. It should feel in this flow. Or all of a sudden someone will mention to you, oh, you know what? I'm doing this public speaking practice class. Do you want to join? And it will just feel like this flow where you're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly it. And so this is the type of thing that I'm talking about, where it's like, it can just flow and be natural because you're now focused on what you do desire and you're feeling into that rather than focusing on what's going wrong, what you need to fix. And the more that you focus on what needs to be fixed, the more you're focused on what needs to be changed, what needs to be healed, then like I said, you're going to continue to manifest experiences that feel like there's always something to fix. There's always something to change. There's always something to heal. So here it is. Here's your permission slip. You don't have to go and fix or change anything or any part of yourself. You can give yourself permission to let that all go. It should feel like a weight lifted from you when you start to really get this. So it should feel like this weight is lifted from you, because if you're like me and a lot of your life, you felt like that was just the normal way of going about things. That was the normal way of processing things and thinking about things. You'll start to notice this. Yeah, it lifts a huge weight and it starts to feel like a lot more freedom. And you start to feel like things are a lot more fun because you're no longer in this energy of feeling like things are going wrong or there's all these issues. You can simply say, okay, here's an area of my life where I want to reach a new level. And instead of feeling like here's a new life where I have to get better because I was so bad at this and I sucked, it's like, okay, I just want to improve here. And Okay, so what does that feel like? And then it gets to be fun. It gets to be exciting. You get to go into your imagination and decide, what does that feel like for you? What does that look like for you? It can be anything that you want it to be, and you just get to feel into that and play with that. So this is where I'm going to leave it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope this was helpful. Leave comments down below. What questions do you have on this? Yeah, I'd be excited to dive into it more. So if you want to work with me further, all of the helpful links that you need are down below. There are links to join the membership, which is my monthly subscription platform where we do live energy healing calls, live monthly group calls. There's a library of content like meditations, affirmations, journal prompts. There's bonus content, recordings of old workshops, things like that. So the membership is the place to be. And you can check out the 14-day free trial. And then there's also links to working with me one-on-one, single sessions, session packages, and even an application to apply for some of my longer term, more intensive one-on-one programs. So check that out through the link below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and like I said, comment down below. Let me know you're here, say hi, and what questions do you have? What do you want to hear more about? Was this helpful? What do you want me to dive into more? I love to kind of have that back and forth. So anyways, hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.